Hi, this is Jess Markowitz, Star Director with Jesse's Angels Saving Lives. And today I am closing my fifth fundraiser for the holiday season since September. And I'm actually closing two different ones right now, but I'm focusing on one of them. And I thought I would do a video while I am doing this process of what the steps are to close a party so you can have simple follow-up systems later on. Because the purpose of a fundraiser is, number one, to contribute to your community. Absolutely. Contribution is so important for a prosperous life and business. But second of all, you're going to be gaining lots of new clients that you never would have met or had the opportunity to serve with your business if you didn't conduct this fundraiser. So we all know that you can't purchase Scentsy without going through a Scentsy consultant. So it's very important to be able to remember and know how to connect with these people. Remember when they ordered, what they ordered, all that stuff. And the beauty of our specific workstation in our Scentsy business is that you can track all of that through your workstation. But one little tip is that one of the benefits of having a fundraiser for your business is that when you're closing a fundraiser, now this depends on what you negotiate with your coordinator. I personally keep the free and half off items because I'm donating my commission. I usually give them 100% of what I earn. So, and that's just my choice because where I am in my business now, I love to show gratitude and give back in any way that I can. So I do keep my free and half off items. So, and then I also do have a stock that I've built up from other fundraisers. So I may have those products in stock. And so what I'll do is I will swap out maybe a warmer that I already have in stock that maybe I haven't been able to sell off and purchase a new one in place of that warmer for that same amount of money. And so the workstation may not necessarily always say exactly what your client ordered. So this system I established, other than obviously doing the old school way of just going back to your order forms, which is also a great resource as well. And I still do. I keep them in a binder and they're under the month that they ordered, as well as they're alphabetized by first name because I'm kind of a first name person. I don't really remember people's last names that often, unless I know them on a personal level. But so I separate them from month that they ordered and by their first name. And so everything's alphabetized in each month. Anyways, so if I want to go to, for instance, Pamela, I will go to the month of November and go to P, and then I'll know that I'll find Pamela. And then I will have a protective sleeve that I'll actually just grab my notebook here. Oh, it's a big boy. Okay, so I will grab the protective sleeve, and any orders that they have will have in their protective sleeve. So let me just open this up. I will print out a customer information sheet for them because they're now my customer in my mind and hopefully turning into a client, which means that they will order again. And so I will transfer this information on to here so it's just simple to see. And then I will put what their order history is as well. Now, if for some reason I missed that step, the nice thing is you always have your order form to refer to. And I keep everybody's order form. Every order they ever place with me will be in the back of their, this is like their profile. This is their specific section that I have everything on them. So if I specifically do something, maybe I send a note or something, I will write a note to myself and in the contact counter, and I will write how I contacted them, if I sent them a thank you note, whatever, in this specific file. Now, another step that I personally chose to take, and it is another step. Now, when you're first starting out with your fundraisers, you want to keep it as simple as possible. And I will be honest with you, you want to continue to keep it simple. But as you start to have a clientele this size or more, I have two of these, you will have to add some steps. Well, I suggest for you to, that will continue to keep it simple for when you do the follow-up process, because you now don't only need to follow up with maybe 20 people or 50 people or even just 100 people. Now you have, you know, hundreds of people in your clientele base that you want to be able to follow up with on proper times. So with that being said, what I'm going to be doing is each packet I got back has their own, is like their own student or player. For instance, the 2 that I just closed are a volleyball team and 5 different baseball teams. Okay, so I'm technically doing 6 fundraisers right now, but it's for a club ball organization, so they're all under the same umbrella. But they are all taking their own donations of what they raised. So, for instance, let me turn off my sound on my iPad that I didn't realize I didn't do. Okay, so the child's parents or child raised a certain amount of sales. And so what I will do is I will create a spreadsheet in Excel. And a lot of you might go, oh, Jess, I don't know how to do Excel. Well, if you are trying to do this as a business, which if you're watching this, it's very likely you are, because people that are just using Scentsy as a hobby, which is a fantastic, you know, resource as well, generally don't take the time to do trainings, especially about fundraising. So, and if you are a hobbyist, but somebody asked you to do a fundraiser, it's definitely good to, you know, one thing I'm going to tell you is your business is going to get bigger because now you're taking on a bunch of clients. You know, you may want to think about that, is that they're buying products that they possibly may never have purchased before. I know it's 2015. You think people know what Scentsy is, but I'm here to tell you, I get back orders all the time that they've never even heard of it and they've never bought it before. So it's not fair when you think about this to your client to be purchasing these products and then they're never going to hear from you again because now they can't buy Scentsy. Although there's Scentsy consultants everywhere if you look for them, but a lot of people, if they don't know them personally, they'll say, well, I don't know a consultant, so they'll end up going to Walmart or Costco or Walgreens, all these knockoff places that is nowhere near the quality of ours, right? We know that. So if we create an Excel spreadsheet, have somebody help you with it. I'm sure you know somebody in your life that knows Excel, somebody. So just, you know, schedule some time with them and say, hey, I need to set up a simple Excel spreadsheet. Tell them what you need and how much it's going to really help you in your business. I'm just trying to find some Kleenex here. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so the first column in my Excel spreadsheet is going to be, what I'm going to do is share my screen. I was going to be doing it in my other computer, but I figured it's actually better for you to see what I'm doing personally, present to everyone. Okay. So now you should be able to see my screen, I hope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up just a fresh Excel spreadsheet. And my Mac tends to take a while. So I'm just going to choose an Excel, just brand new. Okay, so my first column is going to be either you could name it as the student or the player. So I will just do player since this is for instance. And then so I know who this person is attached to. Then I'm going to do customer. So I'm going to go CUST name and last name. Then I personally do their address if they have it, city, state, and I'll tell you why, and zip. And then if there is a phone number, I'm going to do that. If there's an email, I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is the event now or fundraiser name, because here's the thing. For instance, this specific one is a bunch of different, like there's 13U, which is the level of baseball players that they are. So what I'll do is I'll say for there, I will put 13U. so I know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this. It's very important to not go too far in your Excel spreadsheet before you name things and save it. Every time you do something, I suggest that you save it every couple. So Scorpions Club Fundraiser. Okay, so then I know, so that's the workbook, and then I'm going to save it as 13U. Okay, so now I know that this is this 13U right here. All right. Now, so for instance, if you do that, you don't necessarily have to do this column, but I like to see things. I'm a visual person, so I want to see what I'm dealing with. Okay, and then there's another option that you can even just do tabs and maybe do this is 13U if you want. But for instance, what I'm doing is I'm going to do tabs for each, you could do each player, okay? So this one will be for Kyle. For instance, this one will be for Anthony, or let's see, I don't have any left for the 13. I'm going to actually pick up more. Okay, so Fabian. Okay, so that's just an example. Okay, so we're just going to go back to Kyle. All right, so, and this is so when I pull this, say if you're probably saying, well, if it's down here, why do I need it here, Jess? Well, because when you print this out, if you ever need to do this, you're going to want to be able to see who the player is. Okay, so my customer is Pamela. Last name is Martin. Now, I'm not going to do this on, you know, do all this with you guys to give her contact information. But the reason why I want you to know why I do this spreadsheet, okay? The reason why I do this spreadsheet is because follow-up systems are a lot easier when you have an Excel spreadsheet with their names and their address information in columns. So you can actually pull this spreadsheet from a Word document down here. And you can create labels. So when you want to send a thank you card, you want to send a follow-up card, you can just pull a mail merge on Word and pull all these people's names, okay? Another column that I do is product, okay? Especially the reason why, like I said, because in fundraisers, I tend to put things in different places sometimes. So I will do nightlight. This one's a seashell, so we don't have anything that's winter cypress bar and just bar. Okay. And you may be better at Excel than I am. So if you know a better way, please comment below and let me know. Believe me, because I'm not, I know there's ways to make like drop downs and stuff. I don't know how to do that. So this is just my way of doing this. So I am very simple when it comes to Excel. I know the basics. Okay, then I'm going to do a subtotal. I'll tell you why in a minute. And then I'm going to do a total. Okay, so their subtotal was $29.50. And for instance, this specific organization is nonprofit. So there is no tax. So their subtotal and their total is going to be the same. I just highlighted both of them and I am going to go to currency. So all of these two columns are going to come up as actual dollars. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is once I put in all this, there's a formula you can put in. And actually, every time I do this, I forget what it is. So bear with me. I believe it's equals sum of, so it will be column L2. And it's going to be times, which is the little star, 0.25. Okay, so on this specific, and it's going to tell you how much that specific person owes. okay, or I owe them on that donation. So they made $7.38 off of that order, okay? So that is going to, when all of this is put in, this is going to tell me how much their total donation is in this column, okay? Again, this one's going to be the same because it should be different when you guys charge tax. But so this Excel spreadsheet is actually helping me for several reasons. It's helping me with follow-up in the future. It's also helping me with, well, follow up in the case that if they order winter cypress, but maybe I had that one in stock and it goes out of stock, I want to make sure if it's being discontinued in the spring, I'm able to still contact that person. For instance, if they love it, they can still purchase it because I know that they bought it. Now, I will tell you that another way, which you're going to say, isn't that going to kind of be hard to look through all this? What I also do, there's another step that I do. Again, these are all steps, and I know they're time consuming, but they're so worth it if you're willing to do them. So I have, which I don't know where she put them. Let's see. I have a bar Excel spreadsheet that it's basically a list of, let's go try to find it. Let's see. I'm so bad at even my Mac. You guys are probably that are good at Mac are like, really, Jess, what are you doing? But again, any way you can help me, thank you so much. I'd appreciate your comments below. But anyway, so this just shows that I'm not some guru that knows all this stuff. I just do my best and I do what works for me. And if I can learn from somebody else and do something that's even better, hey, amen to that. So that's another reason why I do these videos is because, you know what, you guys can tell me, hey, Jess, there's a more simple way to do that, than what you're doing. So, okay, so bar purchases, so A through L. So I have this set up. It's going to open up so you guys can see it. Okay, so basically I have all the bars that have ever been out since I started this, since I started in 2011. I know that's a lot, right? And so when I get a discontinued list in February, I'm going to be able to go and pull everybody that's ever purchased on this. So what I do with, like, for instance, Pamela ordered winter cypress. So this is going to be added to the W one, but let's say she also ordered Just Breathe. So I'm going to go over here, for instance, and for some reason, Just Breathe isn't on this, but I have a feeling that possibly it's not alphabetized for some. Oh, there's Just Breathe. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Pamela to my Just Breathe list. Pamela Martin. I'm going to add her info, which I'll do this later. And then when I print this spreadsheet, if for some reason Just Breathe got discontinued, I know that I am sending a list of the discontinued list to this person. So what I also have to do is I do kind of compare notes. I don't want to send 10 to one person if 10 of their products are being discontinued. So I will make sure I'll go through and make sure that, there's not duplicates. So that's another step I do. So now you know how I know that, I don't have to go through this specific one and look through everything. But this is just if I want to see at a glance of what they ordered on a spreadsheet, I can. But then again, I also, I'm going to go back to take screen share off, stop. Hi again. Okay, but then I can refer back to my order form. So this is just giving me several ways to be able to know what's going on with my clients. Now, again, I do this full time. This is my full-time career. So I'm going to take a little bit more steps than some people have time to do or are willing to do. So just remember that you do what you can. I didn't do all these steps in the beginning because I didn't know to, one, and I I didn't really know a lot about Excel either, so I had to learn. So if you're trying to grow a business and you're not really good with Excel, I will tell you that taking a class or just having somebody that knows about Excel to teach you a little bit, it's going to really help you with your business. Because when you think about it, all businesses have systems, and the more it can cut down your time by pulling up a spreadsheet, doing some sorting, and getting exactly what you want, it's going to cut down that time-consuming challenge, and then you're going to be able to do it. So again, what I'm going to be doing is putting everybody's orders in this Excel spreadsheet. It's going to tally me up how much they raised and how much of the donation that I am able to give them. So I don't have to do all of that. Then after that step, after all the inputs done, I'm going to be able to calculate if I have the proper amount for everything before I close everything. And so what I do is, I've already done this part, is that I have made sure via the, like my checks, I make sure the checks were correct. And then I add up the order forms that should be cash, and make sure that I have everything that I need as far as cash. And then I add up all my credit cards. Oh, another column that I do, which I didn't show you guys, is that I do write down how they paid. Okay. I also have a column that I make for online orders. So what type of order it was. So I know to make sure that I connect with them as well, because if I don't have a physical order form, what I personally do, I add it, I print out a online order sheet. So this is their order form. And so I remember to connect with them. But these people like to shop online, obviously. So this is how I remember to create thank you lists, thank you cards, and how I know that these are the people that are going to be probably reading my emails more than people that ordered this way, because they're online people, right? So these are the people that you're going to want to possibly do some type of promotions if you do them. If any promotions online are going on, you want to make sure you connect with these people. So then I can do a sort of who ordered online. Okay, you could do that in your workstation as well, because what they ordered is what they ordered. So whatever works best for you. Okay. So I hope this kind of gives you an idea of, the process of how to, categorize everybody. But this is also going to narrow down so you remember what, they did what they were purchasing for, how you met them. And so if they're in a fundraising file, then that's how you met them. But I will tell you that it's important to also transfer them to your binder that I just showed you with the order forms, because if you keep it all in Excel, it's likely you might forget that you have all those clients. So make sure that you bring them on as an actual client as well. I recommend also going through, if you do have their phone number, going through and making thank you calls, and all their information's in one spot. So you could just go down the line in an Excel spreadsheet and be like, okay. And then I literally have a notes section in the end. There's a lot that I didn't show you guys, so let me just really fast give you a visual. Again, let's see, desktop, start. Okay, so what I'm also gonna do is So, okay, so what I'll do is contact date. I'll give the date that I contacted them, and notes. So here I will say that I contacted them on that date. And then if say for instance, I left them a voicemail, I'll put VM for voicemail, and then I'll type what I put, exactly what I said to them, so I remember. Because when you contact them again, you don't want to talk to them like you've never talked to them before or left them a voicemail before. So it's important to put detailed notes, exactly what message you left. Smiley face. Okay, so that's just a tip from me. So over here, I would probably total, I would go, so let's say like this, say we had more, I'd go to the top one and drag it down, and then I would go over to here and have it auto sum for me, and it's going to tell me that this is the total sales they made, but this one right here is going to give me my donation because it's telling me what times 25% that I'm giving them is. Okay. Now, if I'm giving, if it went over 2,000, which it did, I would put in 30% if that's what I'm giving. But this specific organization, I fronted a lot of material, and not all the, and I prepared, so not all of the fundraiser packets came back, and so I lost a lot of materials that I fronted. So I am going to probably keep that 5% to pay myself back. So it depends. If they give me the materials back, then I won't take that 5% away. So for instance, my volleyball team is really good. The coach is really good with making sure her clients give me back my packets, whether they sold or not. So I get all my order forms back, all my flyers, my envelopes. And here's a little tip. I personally write down everything in pencil on the order forms, on the packets. So see this? So everything's in pencil, so I can just erase it, and I can use it again if I want to. If I'm like low on fundraising packets, or I need them fast, or I don't want to spend the money, or I can't spend the money, whatever it is. I did, for instance, this one, put it in pen, but you can just white it out. People know that materials cost money, so they're not expecting you to not utilize the resources you have. So, and then a lot of people that have, understand and do fundraising, or maybe they've been in a direct sales business before. I've had 2 people last night tell me that. They're like, I brought you all your materials back that I didn't use because I know it costs money. I used to sell a party planning company. And I'm like, wow, that's really nice of you. So one last tip before I have to actually start doing this is, this is a great time to find your next consultants, okay, or future hostesses to continue. There's a specific lady that brought me back $700 in orders, and she was actually, joking around saying this was only just one department. I could have, there were so many more departments in my hospital that I could have went to. And so I said, really? So what I did is I talked to her about having another one in the next week or so she will have a chance to raise more money for herself. And then once I actually close this, because I used to, believe me, it's up to you. I used to just, when I saw somebody joining, somebody's, with a lot of clients, I would ask them just to join on the spot, and they would put the orders in. So this is something that you decide what you want to do. I personally fronted a lot of money and a lot of time, so I'm going to go ahead and close this fundraiser. But before she starts her next basket party for me to raise more money, I'm going to ask her to consider joining, so she can just continue serving her guests and clients that have been purchasing from her, and making that money herself instead of me donating the money that she could make herself. So that is the best way to give the opportunity to somebody, because they already have a clientele. This is her stack of clients right here. This is all her clients, $700 worth of people. I didn't even count it up, but it's well over 20 orders. So she's got a clientele already. And so I'm going to basically make her aware of that. Okay. All right. I will continue to make these as I go. And when I start to package everything, all that stuff. So I always remember one more thing. Anyways, make sure that when you go to the bank, you have plenty of time when you're putting in cash and checks. Now, I personally had them write it out to the organization this time. This is my first time ever doing that. It's going to be kind of a relief because I don't have to do all the depositing. And so they're just going to cut me one check, and all I have to do is deposit one check, wait till it clears, and then it's done. Now that's going to take more of a process because you have to give the checks to them. They have to process and clear, and then they have to write me a check, and so that's going to be a little bit more time consuming, but it's okay because I have 2 more weeks to close this party or this fundraiser. So if you don't do it that way, everything is written out to you. So when you go to the bank, make sure you have lots of time to write out all the checks, endorse them, calculate everything. Make sure you bring like a bank bag or something that, is sealed, that nobody sees what's inside, because you're going to be carrying around a lot of money. And don't be whipping it out until you're in the bank, okay? Because that's not safe. Just a little tip from me, little mother hen talking here. And I'm sure you guys all know that, but sometimes you can't fathom, having $3,000 worth of cash and checks in your possession of other people's money. So just take your time and plan that out. So just remember that you don't want to tell your coordinator that you're going to close it the day that you got it, because you still have to process all those checks and go through everything and enter everything, which takes a little bit of time. Okay, so just tell them that it'll close as soon as you're done inputting everything and balancing everything, and that you'll let them know once the order's closed. All right, have a sensational day. Bye.